Hello divas and dollies, welcome back to another video of mine, or welcome if you are new here. As you can see, I've got a little diva dolly here to review for you, and it is the Bratz x Hello Kitty Yasmin. Really happy I got this diva. I remember when the pics leaked for just the three divas, and I remember really being impressed by Yasmin's overall styling. I just feel like the designers did completely perfectly, honestly, representing sort of Japanese inspired fashion as well. But yeah, overall, I just feel like this release was I guess okay enough. I will say that I don't like that they originally were not going to include Sasha. Why the fuck do they never want to include the black girl in some of the lines? You know what I mean? This has been happening ever since the early 2000s with Midnight Dance, Pretty in Punk, Princess, and some other lines too. Sasha is not there because they always leave her out, you know what I mean? And I don't like that shit. If you're gonna release just three of the girls and not release Sasha at all, then why even bother releasing anything at all? They're literally the Bratz pack. They are the girls with the passion for fashion. So if you're gonna just try to represent not all of them without paying the black girls their due respect, then I'm not really gonna vibe with that. But at least they went ahead and actually listened to the criticism from the community and, are gonna be producing a Sasha. But to be quite honest, that's literally the bare minimum. So yeah, negativity aside though, we have this little box right over here with this very, very cute Hello Kitty background. Just got a bunch of pictures of her and little halos and the Bratz logo and whatnot, and little bows. I know it's really glary right now with the cellophane, but got a little close-up of that. And we just have the little logo right here that says Yasmin, TM. And we just have the window into just what she comes with, as well as the little logos right over here that say Bratz and Hello Kitty. And Miss Kitty White over here being a diva. And the only other thing that you can see in the box is her white little stand that she comes with. I love Hello Kitty. I've always loved Hello Kitty, and I was really excited for this collaboration anyways. And I guess fumbles aside and really questionable decision making on MGA's part aside, I do really like the way that this doll in particular looks. I skipped out on Chloe and Jade simply because their designs really weren't doing it for me. They were cute on a base level, but something about Yasmin's outfit just felt like something I would literally wear myself, you know what I mean? And I just love how simple but very detailed and very, very trendy and Japanese clothing inspired it is. So I went ahead and decided to get Miss Yasmin just because I thought she was the best out of the line. And I have Miss Kitty White here to help, you know what I mean? She's obviously a Hello Kitty stan, so I gotta have them meet y'all, you know what I mean? But yeah, we just have all of that little front box art and all the little logos right there. And on the side right here, we just have this very divalicious artwork of Miss Yasmin. I love this artwork. It's very, very cutesy. Kind of looks a little bit like manga coded, you know what I mean? I know that that's obviously what they were going for in terms of inspiration too, but this is very, very pretty. And I love how cartoony it looks. And just the details overall that they drew for her outfit is really, really pretty as well. We just have the little Bratz logo. And then on the back of the box, we have this very blown up picture of Miss Kitty White herself with the Bratz and Hello Kitty logo right there. And we have the same artwork, but blown up a little bit in more detail right over here. It just says, Yasmin, express yourself Hello Kitty style. The girls with a passion for fashion are flaunting looks inspired by the adorable Kitty White herself. The divas that they are, really. You know what I mean? But yeah, here we have this little box art as well as a little text. And I'm really enjoying the graphic design of this box overall. It has Hello Kitty signature colors. It's very, very early 2000s coded a bit. I feel like this collaboration was a long time coming. I just feel like Hello Kitty and Sanrio as a brand collab with literally anybody and everybody. So this Bratz and Hello Kitty collab makes just the perfect amount of sense to me, you know what I mean? And I really love how the eyes are very Tokyo a Go-Go looking. I have only two of those dolls, unfortunately, because little tangent aside, but Tokyo A Go-Go Bratz are literally like the supreme like kind of Bratz, and like that line was just like so spectacular, you know what I mean? And that just like literally is like, you know, why I literally like have half of the fashion inspiration that I do and like look up to some of the like, you know, Japanese influences that I do because of Bratz Tokyo A Go-Go. They like basically introduced that shit to me way back when. But like, yeah, I love how the eyes are very inspired off of that line, and just how in general the eyes are very like shoujo anime coded. But enough of me absolutely gushing over this doll. In the next clip, she's just going to be out of her little diva box. Here we've got our Sanrio Hello Kitty obsessed baddie out of the box, and the first impressions are honestly incredibly nice. I really do love the way that this doll presents overall, and the only critique I have, aside from the whole not including Sasha from the whole get-go of it all, that box was absolutely fucking cantankerous. I absolutely struggled to get her out, but thankfully I got her out without really not so much as a scratch on her, you know what I mean? This is like a standard for Bratz dolls, but the hair quality is incredibly nice. The outfit is more than incredibly nice. I love the fact that she comes with a little stand that you can pop into, and I overall love all of the Hello Kitty themed accessories and like little patterns and graphics that they used. And like especially in the pants, I feel like they could have like really like made this collaboration really tacky and like gaudy looking and just like, you know, childish, but in the worst way possible. But they absolutely did not, and they did everything correct with it, at least. Like I said before, Yasmin's outfit was literally my favorite of like the whole groups, you know what I mean? To be quite honest, Chloe was kind of looking like an imitation Trixie Mattel. And who else did they include? Jade wasn't really doing it for me either, unfortunately, but Miss Yasmin over here just looks like the most like contemporary like shoujo anime like outfit inspired like diva, and I really like that, but I'm getting way too ahead of myself. From the tippy top of her head, as you can see, she's got these gigantic white headphones on, and they are these like over the ear like headphones with these little like graphics on it. I see a little apple, I see little juices, rainbows, telephones, and like little cups of like milk or whatever that is. And we also have that very iconic Hello Kitty shaped like red bow on the headphones. And she has these very, very pretty, very like almost like mid-90s or late 90s like inspired like micro bangs. Or like, I wouldn't exactly call them micro bangs, but she kind of has a little bit of this like fringe going on. Kind of looks like the fringe that a lot of the like video game characters had back in the early 2000s before companies could really like animate like a whole bunch of shit going on with the female's hair. It's kind of what it looks like, and I'm here for it. It kind of is giving like anime in a way, and I think that's the only thing about her that really has like any gel or hairspray and whatnot. And when we move on to these eyebrows, she's just got a very standard kind of like normally arched like brown eyebrow, and she's got on this kind of like lilac and lavender and like very light pink toned eyeshadow on her eyelids. It's very, very pretty. And I think there's like a very pale lilac, like kind of frosty white looking shade in like the center of her eyes. And they are indeed this kind of like bluish purplish color or whatever. And they have these like different colored like catch lights in them. And like it almost kind of looks like she has a little bit of like a cut crease in like the center and whatnot. And we have these very gorgeous, very anime inspired looking lashes and whatnot. Like I said before in the beginning of the video before we got her out, I absolutely love the anime inspiration in terms of like the screening and like the eye and whatnot. I really do think that it's like the prettiest thing ever, and I wish that they would start using it more, honestly. But yeah, she's Yasmin, so she's got that little beauty mark underneath her left eye. And she's got on this very light pink blush, as well as this kind of like hot pink, almost like muted like matte tone color on her lips. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's kind of like a very matte hot pink, and it's not very shimmery at all, at least. And she's just got her hair up in these like two very, very long pigtails, and this hair is a very high quality, very soft and silky and shiny feeling like high grade kiwi nylon, and I really love that. I know a lot of people hate on this hair type, but I honestly just prefer any hair type that isn't polypropylene or a low-grade nylon, so y'all can talk crap about it in the comments if you want to, but I love her hair, and I love the hair quality that Bratz uses when it's not saran, you know what I mean? Thankfully, it's not that very, like, troublesome, like, cantankerous 2010s, like, nylon polypropylene bullshit, you know what I mean? And moving on to her outfit, she's just got on this very simple Hello Kitty graphic, like, crew neck. And it's got Hello Kitty in a white graphic. And it's just in this very simple red color. And I really do love how, like, kind of cropped and, like, baby tee looking it almost is. And it's got very nice stitching on it, and it's very well constructed, I'll say. And then moving on to the bottom, and like what she's got on, like, for pants and whatnot. She's got on this very, very cute micro mini skirt layered atop of these wide leg, very, like, baggy, chunky jeans. And they just have the Hello Kitty bow kind of, like, plastered on them, like, not a lot, thankfully, but, like, very, like, spread out and, like, understated at least. Like I said before, I feel like they could have gone really, like, tacky with this collaboration in terms of fashion, but they absolutely didn't. Bratz fashion is always eating, and the designers really know what the hell they're doing and what's going on fashion-wise, so I don't even know why I doubted them to begin with, you know what I mean? We just have the silver little stud right here to simulate a little button, and on her micro mini, it's just got the same patterns as her headphones, and it's got this little white ribbon on it. And then the only other thing that she came with was this Hello Kitty bag with, like, a white base and red, like, contrast, like, stitching painted on it. And it's just in the shape of Miss Kitty White herself, the icon, the diva, the star even. And yeah, that's basically all they wrote for Yasmin's outfit. I do really love the shoe mold that they used for her. It's kind of like this chunky platform, like, Oxford shoe with Hello Kitty as the buckle at the front. And it's in this, like, nice chunky white tone, and we have all this different kind of, like, molded on stitching and, like, molded on detail for, like, the soles and whatnot. I'm not entirely sure if they've used that mold yet, but I really hope they use it again because it's absolutely cunty as hell. And she came with this very basic plain white stand. Now, I just feel like these dolls would have been way more worth the $36 price point if they had maybe a little bit more detail in the stand, or came with, like, an extra little Hello Kitty, or, like, you know, had any other, like, details in it. But, like, I waited specifically to get Yasmin on clearance from Walmart for $27, so, you know, that's just me personally. I have other expenses and whatnot, so, you know, I'm just trying to keep this hobby very, like, affordable, you know what I mean? But yeah, overall, I'm really digging this design, and I think that whoever designed this needs to get a raise, because this is exactly, like, I need an outfit like this for me. Like, this, like, bottom half specifically, I need for myself. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I feel like this collaboration is just very long overdue. Sanrio has been around for, like, a very, very long time, and, you know, at least now they can collaborate with, like, other brands and companies that, like, you know, want to rep Miss Hello Kitty and whatnot, you know what I mean? Absolutely love the Hello Kitty-fication of these Bratz divas right now, honestly. And, like, bonus points for them reusing this kind of, like, Tokyo A Go-Go eye screening. I really love that for them. And I'm not entirely sure if it was already obvious before, but as you can see here, Miss Diva is fully articulated. So she can move at her arms, at her elbows, you know, she can move at her wrists. She has the regular bend and snap, like, knee joints that the, like, regular dolls do, and that they did in the early 2000s as well, but yeah, she's basically fully articulated, and that is very decent at least. And I'm sure these dolls will be even, like, more of a score once you get them on, like, even more of, like, a super clearance, but, like, yeah, I really love that about her. Now, overall, I do really think that you guys should get this doll if you really, you know, like Bratz and like Hello Kitty and, like, you know, enjoyed this collaboration. I know I talked about a little bit of the negativity of it all, and I just had to talk about it because why are y'all gonna continuously leave my girl Sasha out of, like, every major line sometimes? There's something up with that, you know what I mean? But, like, yeah, I really hope you divas enjoy this video because I'm really, really happy about this Yasmin doll and her design and just the way that she displays next to Miss Kitty White over here, who was only 3 apples tall. But yes, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, divas. Stay safe.